Hi, everyone. Welcome to A New View. I'm Juji, and I'm here with Shira, Lee, and Kim. We are four friends, speakers, and professionals from different cultures, backgrounds, and age groups coming together to offer healing and inspiration. So today I wanted to cover a topic that recently came up actually while I was coaching someone, and it's the topic of labels. So I was speaking to a client and we were talking about some pain points of hers. And she said, yeah, but I don't want to be labeled as high maintenance. And I thought that was really interesting because that was never something that I personally feared being labeled. I was like proudly high maintenance. So it actually got me thinking about like our conditioning and the labels that we sort of fear because of how we were raised and things like that. So can anyone else think of a label that they have been avoiding per se? Lee?
And I can probably, I think of a bunch, but one of the ones that stands out for me in my own experience is I didn't want to be labeled as weak. In my growing up, and my parents came here to America from Israel, and they accomplished so much at such a young age. They built a business, but they were always busy and they were always doing things. But in the interim and in life, so many things happen. And I remember being told often, like, no, be strong, you got this. So you kind of start to put on this mask and pretend to be strong when now I can define it as that. I had moments of weakness or sadness or feeling abandoned or feeling whatever, and I did not want to appear weak. That was bad. That was a bad label for me back then. And today I obviously I look at things very, very differently. I don't see some of the ways that I am sad or down or just not with a pep in my step. I don't look at those as weak at all. I know better. And I know that my parents didn't know any better or didn't know to teach us that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to feel your feelings. It's okay to go through that and then kind of make it to the other side. So that was one of the biggest labels that I stayed away from. And I remember succinctly this topic that the name we gave this episode is, who are you pretending not to be? I was pretending not to be weak. And this statement came from the actual room where I took this the self-growth course many years ago, probably 15 years ago or so. And that statement was on the wall in huge letters. And it was there for days and days and days. I don't think I noticed it till like the end too. I'm like, what the hell is that? What the hell does that mean? And this is what it's all about, because this is the stuff we worked on as well. So for me, weakness.
Well, for me, it's such an interesting topic, actually, because the whole pretending part of my life spanned several decades. And for me, it was always about not coming across as needy until I realized that that's such bullshit because everybody has needs. The problem is when you're in a relationship and someone's needs are more passive, like to be left alone, which is a need, by the way, versus someone who, wants someone to do something like touch my hand or be affectionate or talk to me or connect. That's more active, where you need someone else to do something. And that's where some real struggles can come together. When you're needing to be left alone, so you don't do anything, still a need, versus I, need for you to do something. So I think also, we always talk about how our upbringing shaped us and gives us our point of reference. I tended to look at my mom as someone who was very needy And so I didn't want to be like that. And as we all know, when you're being raised and you're seeing things in your parents' relationship and in your household that you're like, no, I'm never going to do that. I don't want to be like that. And you sort of sometimes run in the whole other direction. You kind of miss out when you don't stop and go, all right, what was actually going on for my mom or for my dad? And that takes maturity, that takes time. And so I have now realized that looking at my mom as needy is very detrimental, because the universal truth is that we all have needs. So then I stopped doing that and saying, okay, sure, well, what are your needs? What are my needs? And are they being met? And can they be met? And all of these questions. So neediness for me was always something I tried to avoid. And now I'm much more in touch with, no, I don't prefer that, or no, I don't need that, or I do want that, and just compromising, in all areas of my life, with my children, with my significant other, with my friends, like just being in touch with what I am needing in any given moment is now a beautiful thing for me, sort of, Lee, what you were talking about before, like, it's okay. It's okay. And getting to know ourselves and really delving in and investigating that a little bit more is super duper helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think that you guys are bringing a good point, which is that when we perceive that a quality or a label is bad, we try to like swing the pendulum really drastically into the other direction. So the label that I did like is independent, and even that stems from, something about being raised and seeing like how my mother was, with certain situations that were beyond her control, actually, that I wanted to be very independent. I didn't want to have to depend on anyone for anything, mostly because I saw children as something that made, like they're literally called dependents, and I was like, I don't want that. Like, I don't want anyone to depend on me, and I don't want to have to depend on anyone else. And I feel like I swung the pendulum so far in the other direction that I actually got the label occasionally that I was cold, because being warm, being affectionate, being close, being like that, oh no, that means I depend on someone. Oh no, that means like I can't just walk away from this human being. Like I know that I was that way in my first marriage, and it wasn't functional. It was detrimental, actually, because we weren't connecting, and I didn't know how to connect with this other person. And I know that it also like bled into other friendships and relationships, because I was just so like, I don't need you. I'm independent. I have, like, I'm always the one that shows up to fix things. I never need anything from anyone. And to be like, no, actually I do, because like we can't exist without other people. Like nothing exists in a vacuum. And so that's something that, in terms of letting go, was really difficult. It's like still hard to this day. It's not like, oh, I just decided one day that I wasn't going to be that way anymore. And like, no, I have to constantly be like revisiting this with myself. Like, don't be a hero. You can ask for help. It's cool. Actually, I know, Kim, that you said that to me once, like, yeah, it's hard for me to say that I need help with something.
Yeah. I've experienced that as well. And also from my parents, I believe, it's something my mother still does. I don't need anybody's help. I don't want anybody's help, but sometimes it's so important to allow others to help you and to give you, and not just to always be giving, because they say it completes the circle of, giving and receiving. You give, you receive, and allow other people. This is where it came together for me in my head about the giving and taking thing, is it allows other people the same pleasure that you get out of giving or doing something for somebody. Allow them to feel that satisfaction and that pleasure. And it becomes like, kind of like a two-way street, but in a really good way.
Mhm.
That's
Without
why we're here. That's why we're here. We're here to connect and give and receive and like that. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Like, if you deny that, you're not fully human.
Yeah,
But it
and I
takes a while to get there.
right. I think for those who deny that are feeling more like it's an imposition.
Yeah.
Hard to ask for somebody for something. Can I get a ride? Can you help me with this? I need help with whatever. It's like an imposition, and you feel bad because you don't want to put yourself in that predicament, because that's kind of that also goes hand in hand for me with that weakness that thought from way back.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that and say that when I was sort of hiding in shame and feeling like, I guess, emotionally isolated, I felt like I had to have my shit together. Like I didn't even talk to my girlfriends about the trouble I was having in my marriage, because I was just like, got to keep the shit together, got to keep your shit together. Like you'll figure it out. And so it's a lot of themes here in this conversation that are similar, but my God, like if I had the wherewithal to say, wow, I'm really struggling here and be in touch with that, I probably could have gotten so much great advice or consolation or empathy or whatever I was needing at the time. But I was, that whole denial acronym, don't even notice I am lying to myself. So I didn't even allow that to come to me. And so, pretending not to be needy is such a harm to oneself.
Mm, mm.
My God, so much you guys are saying. I relate to all of it. Holy cow. I was looking at the notes earlier, and I saw you guys wrote it down, like wrote what your label or what you were pretending not to be. And I was really struggling with that. And the only word that kept coming to my mind was control. I definitely pretend to be in control. And when I look back on my life too, my entire career in TV and film production, my whole career of like 20 plus years, I was always accommodating so many people, and the shit would get like, Kim's to do, Kim can do it, Kim can do it. And I always was like, I'll do it. I got this. I didn't have it at all. I got sick. I was sleeping under my desk in a fucking sleeping bag. Excuse my language. Maybe not. I don't know.
No, we should be able to curse.
I didn't have it at all. Like I got through it, but to my own detriment. And to this day, I still struggle with that. I still struggle to not work nights. I still struggle to not put in work over the weekends. I still struggle to, just anytime there's something extra, not, to say no, to say, I don't have the bandwidth for this, to not volunteer, to take care of something for someone. It's hard for me because I'm just so used to doing everything for everyone. And I know it's in my relationships too. Like even with Mike, my husband, I'll always volunteer to do anything and everything. If somebody has to make a call to the mechanic, the contractor, the health insurance, like I'm the first one to give. And, but it's all on, like, it's just so innate in me. And, and then I have a meltdown once in a while. And I'm like, I can't, so much. I'm so overwhelmed. I live in overwhelm. And I'm like, well, that's my own freaking fault. Like, ask for help. And I remember that episode we did with Michelle Brock, past life regression hypnosis. Yeah. I did a session with her, and it was like the most amazing experience. I know I talked about it in the episode. And the whole message for me was ask for help. The whole message from higher source was ask for help. And it is still hard today for me. It's definitely getting easier because I have this awareness and I see it more, but it's still difficult for sure.
I think that's a big one for many women. That's
just going to say that.
So common. I mean, I hear it all the time, and I've seen other shows as well that discuss this. Like, you know, it's so hard for us to ask for help because we want to be the ones to help. Maybe this also comes down to control. We want to control. We want to do it. We want the accolades. We want the acknowledgement because we could do it. You know, we could do it all, and we are capable of doing so much, but why is it so hard for us to ask for help?
Well, and something to add to that too, when I did I know we refer, Juji and I, and all of us really refer to the self-development program Landmark. We'll bring up stuff from that all the time. And I remember in Landmark when they first taught us about how like everyone's biggest fear in life is looking bad. And the first time I heard that, I didn't believe it actually. I was like, but some people don't care what other people think. And then just like as time went on and I started witnessing just my own behavior or other people's behavior, my own fears, it all was like this root of looking bad in others' eyes or disappointing someone. Like it doesn't matter what it is, it came down to looking bad. And that really is freaking scary. So, for me with work, especially back in the day when I was younger and I was like, no, I got it. I could do it. No, I could do it. No, I could do it. It's like, I didn't want to look bad in front of someone like my boss's eyes. I wanted her to look at me like this savior. Like, she's such an asset. There's nothing wrong with, I'm perfect. I can handle anything.
Yeah. And imagine how many, I was just going to say, imagine how many of us are walking around every day, all the time, pretending something,
Mm-hmm. I feel like what you're describing, Kim, though, like there's something about what you are saying specifically about this like work situation that it feels like very specifically New York, because there are just so many people competing for so many jobs there. And I remember feeling the exact same way. Like, I didn't know at what point it like tipped into what I consider to be like full-fledged workaholism, but I definitely entered this space of like, there's a line in A Devil Wears Prada, 1,000,000 girls would kill to have this job. No matter how terrible your boss is treating you, no matter how overworked you are, no matter how like compromised you are in terms of this being like a work-life balance situation. And like, so many people feel like, oh, it's just like a matter of one person being behind me, ready to take this from me, ready, like this mentality we have of like, oh, it's somebody else could handle this, so I have to prove that I am the one who can. And that like that trying to prove all the time.
Until
I have to, oh, go ahead, Lee.
Stop trying to prove, right? Until we stop. And then everything shifts. Because I think, and we've had some conversations about this, and we talked about having jobs that we were not happy with, and we just gave, and we would do anything for. But I believe we're all in such a different place today where there's been that shift for us where it's like, I don't need to prove anything. Yeah, you can still work hard, you can still be productive and do your job really well, but at what price? At what price are we going to sacrifice?
Well, I just wanted to get back to this whole pretending thing. That's because I love the word pretense, because that's like the noun version of pretending. And it's like, I feel like this episode is really reinforcing my commitment to stopping the pretending. And like Juji said before, like, it's not like you automatically make a decision. It's like, okay, well, I'm not going to be that way anymore. It's like, no, it's still kind of like, comes seeping back in sometimes. But the awareness, our favorite word, when you can be aware that you're pretending, because like, listen, we weren't all meant to be actors. Actors play pretend, they pretend to be other people. But when we're not actually being who we are, we're doing ourselves such a disservice. And so I've done that for a long time. And I'm really, you know, as you three are my witness, I want you to call me out when you see me sort of either being pretending or people pleasing or whatever, my former self. I hope to be my former self. I really am making a commitment to myself to just stop pretending and just be actually in touch with my soul. Cause like every day that goes by, I'm just like, wow, life is so short. Wow, life is so short. And just stop pretending. It's just so dumb. And it really is.
Isn't it exhausting? It's
Yes, that too.
so
It's exhausting.
exhausting.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But do you guys think that, do you believe that we pretend to not look bad?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I would definitely say that.
I
What's
do. I know I'm guilty of that. And I do still believe that I have work to do. Always, you know, there may always be a level of pretending or judging or any of these things that we are working on to become better people, right? And come to a place where we could just shine some love on people and be compassionate. And, you know, I'm not there yet, but I'm such a far way away from where I was. And
But you know what? I'm not that way with you. Like, this is such a beautiful thing. Like, I can look at this friendship, this bond, and go, yeah, I don't pretend with you guys.
Well, that needs to be a future episode. Why is looking bad so scary?
Ooh, write it down.
I will.
Well, but do you feel like, so does that mean that it's actually a two-way street? Because why I would say, you know, you don't feel like you have to pretend with us, Shira, is because, you know, this is a safe environment. We created that. It's like very conscious. And you know, I say that about relationships all the time. Like a relationship has to be two people making a commitment for it to be safe, to be vulnerable, to be yourself, to be scared, to not always have to look good.
Yeah.
I mean, we just did the sex episode and Kim was talking about how, you know, the reason why she knows that her relationship is so strong is like, even if she has a psoriasis flare up, like it doesn't matter because her husband sees her, not, you know, not that.
Yeah,
So,
I think you all came into my life as the layers of the onion were peeling off of me. Like, I didn't know I was pretending. Let's put it that way. But when you realize that you were, you're like, wow, I was totally covering up some shit. Like, I was definitely like covering shit up. So that's the beauty of epiphanies, you know?
And I think just the word pretending puts it in a whole different perspective, right? It's one thing to be aware of stuff. Like we always say, you know, once I became aware of this, but once you become aware of what have I been pretending? You know, am I pretending? And what is it that I'm pretending to be or not to be? You know, it goes both ways.
That is the question.
And that question, when the episode suggestion first got brought up, that question is powerful. That's a question to ask yourself. What am I pretending?
It kind of gets you to dig deep. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And Cher, I was just going to say, like you were talking about the layers of the onion were just starting to be peeled for you, whatever. I feel like those layers for most of us are it's a continual unlayering, and it's a fucking big onion.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes a sticky onion.
Sticky onion. A friend of mine said once, you know, Kim, we all have secrets. And I was like, ooh, do we? And we really do.
Yes.
And those secrets will manifest in some way, shape, or form. They will come out, whether it's through your skin or through your weight or through your relationship, like they will come out.
Or disease or illness sometimes. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through some kind of an adversity in life. And that's what it's all about, right? The life has contrast, life has amazing things and difficulties and obstacles. And that's what makes it such a perfect balance. Although we want a lot more of the goodness, of the positive, of the fun, but we have to be able to go through the darkness, I believe.
But when we stop pretending, you can get more of the goodness. That is true, because then you invite all kinds of things in because you're not shielded by this like cocoon that you've put yourself in. And
You're
it's
not
very
hiding.
hard to do that. I love the analogy. I don't know if I ever told you guys, but apparently an ostrich egg is like the hardest shell ever in the world. And the only way for it to break is for the little baby ostrich to peck its way out. You can't break it from the outside. You have to break it from the inside.
Really? That's fascinating. I
know.
mean, it's information we don't need to know, but on the other hand, it's like, no, seriously, that's fascinating.
You're the baby ostriches though.
You can't break it from the outside?
It's a beautiful
No.
analogy.
It is. You got to peck it from the inside.
Yeah, yeah. We have to stop hiding, right?
All right, girls, I think this is a good place to wrap it up. What do you think?
Let's pretend not to go on.
Pretend it's not over.
Let's pretend it's over.
We hope you enjoyed our conversation as much as we did. If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and be sure to let us know if you have any topic requests or questions by commenting below. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.